Right, okay, we are back with the next in the series of survival games for 7 Days to Die. I am Maxius Slight and welcome. Okay, and in this video, in the last video, should I say, we covered finding a base and securing it and the upgrading of blocks and kind of the process of that, building frames and how you would begin building. So I wanted to add something to this one, which is about block rotation. It's a bit of more advanced than just putting down blocks like square, like this. You can have sloped, angled, 2 blocks that make up 1 block over a 2 block thing. It becomes more and more complicated. But in order to use blocks to their fullest, you're going to need to rotate them. So let's say I want to make this corner look a little bit more, this kind of wall look a little bit more ornate. I'm going to put down a slope here, and I'm pressing now the left hand button on my mouse, and that's doing this. It's rotating it. Now, it's only rotating it through 4 rotations. The new updates, the block placement becomes much more complicated. You can now press and hold R and you have all these options. This one is the advanced option, so we click on that and now you can see this block has 24 or 30 something rotation. I can't remember how many it is. Okay, now there's also, let's go back to simple. We've got this one on the face, so it will go onto the face by which you're looking at. Yeah, so that's a lot more helpful for other kind of blocks, not so much this one. But I want to spin this one around, and to place it, I'm happy with it there because I want that to go make a slope coming out. Right, so let's say I'm here and I'm placing another, I'm doing a few other things. I want to place another one, and you might end up placing hundreds of these blocks. There's a little feature. This next one is this one here, copy rotation. The block you're pointing at, you press and hold R again to bring up the menu, copy rotation. Right, I've screwed that up, messed it up, copy rotation, and you use the right button to place on the mouse there, like so. So let's say, again, I want to do this. I'm here. I've messed up my rotation. Copy rotation. And just use the right mouse button to press. Now that looks a lot. Let's get rid of this here. Okay. There we go. We're out of place. Copy rotation. Bosh. Now that wall looks a lot more aesthetically pleasing straight away by putting in these kind of, so that's something you might look at later. This is not necessarily on securing a base. Okay, I'm hungry, which is the icon here now. The other one was thirsty, this one's hungry, so I'm going to eat this cheatingly, which puts me on loads of health. Okay, so I wanted to show you a good segue. Let's talk about food, my favorite subject, as you can see. Now, the next quest on our line is building a campfire. So let's do that. Campfire. We've covered how to craft basics, so I won't do it again every time. We've crafted the campfire. Now, the really cool thing about campfires, put them on the floor, as if you're camping. You can put them anywhere at any time, as long as you're able to build. Sort of like traders and stuff you're not allowed to build on. But they also go up a level, so you can put them up like this. Problem is, if you have it on the floor, you've got a good chance of walking on it and catching fire. Now, let's look at the user menu, the UI for the campfire. It's slightly different because now we have all the things down here, that we can make in the campfire. Okay? Each of those has its, so we can make glue, which is useful for crafting, goldenrod tea, grain alcohol, cornbread, corn on the cob, coffee, and so on and so forth. Now, that's the menu. If we click on that, it tells you, again, these are the details of what we need. One piece of meat becomes one charred meat. Over this side is the tools. Now, every interface machine, if you like, such as the forge, the campfire, the cement mixer, and there's a few others, workbenches and so forth, can have additional tools. So let's look at grilled meat. I can cook charred meat, no problem. I just need one meat and it can go, right? Grilled meat I can't cook because I need the cooking grill. Now, if you remember that tree that we looted earlier, it had these in it: cooking pot and grill. Now they go into the. Oh, let's see. I'm just gonna put two in. Doesn't matter. You would normally split them up. Okay. So now I only haven't got the beaker. We'll get one of those later. So let's look now. The cooking pot and the cooking grill are in their tool slots, which now opens up a huge amount more of these. If we go to the meat, grilled meat now has a tick. We can now use it. We can make it. Next box down is the fuel. Now, a lot of these, such as the forge, the cement mixer, not cement mixer, sorry, forgive me, the forge, chemistry station, campfire, take fuel and then require fuel in order to work. So we have wood here. We don't have. Stop being rude. It's naughty. We can split this pack down by right-clicking on it and dragging across like this. And each time it drags half of it off. Or we can just pick up the thing and right-click and put one piece in and continuously right-click to put in multiple pieces, or we can split the stack down that we have to a reasonable size and left-click and drop a stack in there. Okay? I'm just quickly get rid of that. Now, everything has, let's have a look, bacon and eggs. It takes 15 seconds to cook. Everything has a cooking time. Okay, 41 seconds for a piece of boiled meat, and so on. So what we need to do is grab some ingredients a minute. I've been prepared for this one this time. Okay. Now, we've got some ingredients. We want to make, oh, we haven't got any eggs. Let's get some eggs. Okay. So we want to make bacon and eggs. We can make 100 bacon and eggs. Let's just only make 5. Because obviously you wouldn't have these kinds of resources. I've cheated these in. Now, making 5 takes 1 minute 17 seconds. Doesn't take, I mean, one piece of wood will last 50 seconds. So you only need 2 pieces of wood in order to make that. So let's craft that up by clicking cook. Now there you go, that's cooking. So let's go to the meat stew, which is the best there is. You need water, corn, potatoes, and meat. Alright, we're going to make 10 of those. That takes 24 minutes, so we're going to need to add some more wood to get our timer up. Because here is the fuel time that we have. Yeah, fuel time there. 15 minutes, we need to keep going. 26 minutes, that'll cover it. You can't put more fuel into the slot that's being used at the time. But that's why you have 3 slots there, just in case you need to do this. So now we have enough time in the fuel, 26 minutes, to cover both of these operations. Right? Okay, so that's food cooked. Now, there are some other things you need to know about cooking in general. Remember we said about the green sham sandwich. Let's go and find it. Oh, actually, the egg should be sufficient, shouldn't it? There we go. Eating a raw egg Gives me a 40% chance. Let's do it. There we go. I now have, let's go to my man. I have food poisoning, which was going to happen. So in order to get rid of food poisoning or diarrhea, there are certain things you can brew. Goldenrod tea is one of them. Goldenrod tea is by picking the yellow flowers outside, called them the goldenrods, and with water, I'm going to make a stack of 15 of those. My maximum health decreased because I had dysentery and I wasn't happy about it. So now I'm cooking goldenrod tea, and I'll show you again in a minute once I actually have some. In fact, I'm just going to cheat some in. Right, give myself dysentery again, see if I can make myself poorly. Come on. No, I'm full health. But okay, so what you would do is you would get poorly and you would drink the goldenrod tea. So let's stick this lot away. Don't have any need for this anymore. And we show you the last thing about cooking, and the most vital, I think, of these. Oh yeah, the other tea is chrysanthemum tea, red tea. So if I get those out, I think I put them in the bottom one actually. I'm going to put pinky. No. Put them in the top one. No. Let's just grab some red tea. Okay, now, ditch the eggs. Thank you. Now, goldenrod tea. There you go. Removes dysentery. You can catch on fire. It will put you burning out. But not only that, it's a bloody good drink. Because if we compare it to water, which I put all away, okay, just plain old water, you get 20 stamina, 20 hydration. Okay, you get 40 stamina immediately, and 20 hydration, plus your wellness goes up, which is the increase in maximum health we spoke about earlier. Okay, and the same kind of stats for the red tea as well. But this one is a cool drink, red tea, and it again cures dysentery. So if you're in a very hot climate, you can drink this by making chrysanthemums, and it will bring your temperature down. Okay, the last thing about cooking survival I wanted to share with you, we're going to go outside. We're going to take empty jars with us. Now, empty jars, you find a bunch. You can craft them in a forge, which I'll speak about a bit later. And you get one back every time you drink. So let's have a drink of red tea. Drink. There you go, empty glass jar. I've got a stack here that I cheated in. Now what we do is we find a water source. Now I believe since Alpha 16 it needs to be 2 tiles deep of water, because standing water won't do it. So we go into the water. Let's put our night vision on. And we simply right click once. Okay, very important you only do it once. We don't need night vision now. And what we end up with, instead of 500 empty glasses, I'll show you that again really quickly, the empty one there. The empty glass becomes murky water. Now you can find some murky water dotted around the place in the toilets, and you loot it here and there. But dirty water, as in raw eggs, will give you a bloody good chance of getting dysentery, 50% chance of getting dysentery. So I think I'm going to drink that. I can't because my thirst is not. So you get dysentery. These are the and there we go. Just perfect timing. Those are the goldenrod flowers. Look, you just pick them up, and the red ones. I'm not going to find a red one just to make it look silly. But the red ones are the same as a chrysanthemum. And you can just pick that one. Okay, so let's go back inside. So we've gone out. We've used our empty glasses on the water source, and we have a ton now of murky water. it's going to give us dysentery and make our wellness go down. So it's not a good thing to be drinking long term. But once you have a campfire and a cooking pot, you can make, you see, look, gold cooking pot required, you can make boiled water. So let's add that to our queue. There we go. That's going to take an extra 15. I'm going to stick a bunch of this wood in here. Okay. Now that's going to run for 22 hours, so that'll be plenty. You can turn it off. The campfire cook, it's not now using wood. But once it's on, even when it's not producing, if there's nothing queued up, it will use water. Campfire is also a good source of heat if you're cold and wet. If you're hot, they're not a good place to be. So, cooking. Okay, gather your resources, which is about farming and hunting, or looting. I'll speak about those a bit later, but I wanted to give you the idea of how to make it into something useful straight away, because things like the water and the teas are good for you and they help you. So we'll eat that. Look, and eating the meat stew gives you fullness of 60 and the wellness of +6, so it's very good for your wellness. Hot stew. There is you can make antibiotics here, but you need the beaker tool we spoke about. By using mouldy bread, some nitrate and bottled water, you can make gasoline here with some biofuel to make biofuel. Okay, this is a good little point, and I'll end on this. We've learned about the cooking, but the stations have their own icons. Now, this one, biofuel, is just made in the campfire here with a beaker, and it's a 1-to-1 mix. This little icon here is a chemistry station. This one's the book we spoke about. You've got doubles of some recipes that can be made in 2 different stations. Now this one, it depends on what you want to do. How you just need a chem station, which is quite high end. And for instance, let's look at the gunpowder one. That's probably an easy one to describe. Gunpowder is you can make in your own inventory with 2 lumps of clay, 2 lumps of nitrate powder, and that's, I think you get 1 for that. But if you go to a chemistry station, it's 1 and 1, and you get 5. So sometimes it's more efficient to use a station, but the station is very advanced, so you've got to use your inventory. Okay. So we've learned about making water, teas, food, fuel, tools, and the different recipes sometimes doubling up. Okay, I think that's a really good place to leave it. So we're going to have enough in this video to cover the food and how to prepare it. Obviously, in order to get the ingredients, you can loot them. You can loot meat sometimes, raw meat, not rotten meat. Rotten meat, something else. You can hunt, which we saw with killing the deer. There's boars. Just kill them and use your axe or a knife on them. I'm not going to make a whole video on it, but if you have to see it in a video, it will come up. The hunting is not an entire video, and it's potluck sometimes as well. So kill the animal, skin it, use an axe, a bladed weapon, so an axe, a knife, or a bone shiv, which you can make. Let's just quickly show you the bone shiv. You make bones. You get bones from zombies and beasties. You make it. Click on the. Oh no, we want to equip it. We want to recipe it. Recipe it. Thank you. Bone shiv. Craft. Okay, so we've made a sharp bone, which we can use to cut up bodies with. Okay, that's that. So once you have meat and vegetables and stuff like that, you can make the stew. But if you've got meat and eggs from the bird's nest, you can make bacon and eggs, which is actually a really, really good meal. Or you could just make the meats boiled, charred, grilled, and so on. and each one needs their own thing. Yep, excellent. That's cooking, done. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there, and ta-da.